I think it's bullshit that the Eagles are getting punished for being great at something.
I agree with that. Yes.
Because that's what it is. Let's just be honest. Like this idea that it's for player safety is such a load of crap. Like the NFL cares. Okay. The NFL is putting the Chiefs on in Bangladesh on a Monday afternoon after playing Sunday. Like, give me a break that the NFL is sitting around clutching pearls going, oh God, is somebody going to get hurt when they all push each other? Like there's a 0% chance that one guy in that room gives a shit whether or not somebody's getting hurt.
It's that football show here on KC Sports Network. Tucker Franklin hanging out with Matt Verderame on your Wednesday edition. Thank you to our partners, Ben Holiday Bottled and Bond Bourbon and Holiday Distillery. Phenomenal people up there. We might have some exciting news coming up with Holiday Distillery. So stay locked into the KC Sports Network channels for that. Love the people at Holiday Distillery. Love everything that they do and everything that they help do with us. So this show would not be possible without Holiday Distillery. Matt, how are you doing? How's your weekend? Summer is almost here. The official start of summer is almost here with Memorial Day weekend being this weekend. How are things up north?
Things are good. Things are things are fine. I'm looking forward to Memorial Day weekend. It's one of my favorite weekends of the year. So, most importantly, as far as my week is concerned, game one with the Knicks.
True
is tonight, Wednesday, for those watching on different days. And if the Knicks win this series, I'm going to be a very happy individual. And if they lose, I'm going to need to be committed. So there's a wide range of how these next 2 weeks. In fact, speaking of being committed, so I was actually telling you this off air. My Memorial Day weekend, I'm hanging out here.
Yep.
For a variety of reasons. My daughter, chief among them. She's got this thing that she learned how to read, and now I got to pay the price by going to a single A baseball game on Memorial Day weekend. But my actual wedding, my anniversary of my wife is on Monday. It's on actual Memorial Day.
Oh, nice.
But we're going to go the following weekend. We're going to go away for a little mini weekend. My parents are nice enough to just take the kids. And thank God, because I'll tell you what, my in-laws weren't doing it. So my parents are nice enough to come 800 miles to hang out with kids for a weekend. While my in-laws who live, I can throw a football and hit their house. Like, nah, it's all right. So we're going away. We're gonna do that. But I realized that games 5 and 6 of the Knicks Pacers series are going to be played while we're away.
Yeah.
I haven't told my wife yet. Bro, there's a 0% chance I'm missing those games. So I'm just going to have to be, let's go out to dinner at 8:00. And we go, why? We go, no, that's the only time I get a reservation. And just make sure that we're right next to a television. And I'm sure she's going to really appreciate that. The game 5 is the night we get up there. So that one I might be able to kind of get away with more. I'm praying to God if there's a game 6, the Knicks are up 3-2, so that way it's like, look, if they lose, I'm not just ruined as a person.
Right.
If they win, awesome. Great night, right? I'm praying that by some miracle they win in 4, but that's not going to happen. Indiana's a good team.
Yeah.
I've also thought about, if they're up 2-1 in the series or something, I might just go to the game 4 in Indianapolis. It's only a 3.5-hour drive.
Yeah, it's not far.
Yeah, Dad's in town, big Knicks fan. I've never gone to an NBA game. So that might be.
I've been to one. It was actually when we were in Dallas for the East-West Shrine Bowl, not this past year, but the year before. We went to a Mavericks Magic game. And I'm an Orlando Magic fan, unfortunately. So that was the first time I got to watch the Orlando Magic in person. That was my first NBA game. And Luka didn't really do anything for 3 quarters. And then in the fourth quarter, he's just like, oh, yeah, basketball. And I think he scored 25 in the fourth. And you're just like, oh, he's good. He's really good.
And then Nico Harrison was like, it's not that good.
Right.
Head out.
And David Stern, I called him David Stern. Oh, well, he pretty much is David Stern with rigging a lottery. Yeah. reincarnated, I guess.
I've always wanted, like in the 90s, I always wanted to go to a Knicks game, but it was impossible.
Right.
It was, I mean, that was before StubHub and everything else. You had to get them to Ticketmaster. I remember my dad would call me on the phone for hours trying to get in. No chance, none. Right. So yeah, in any event, next weekend I'm going to be on this weekend where my wife and I are celebrating our 8th anniversary, and she's, I'm sure, going to be like, oh, like let's go out to a romantic dinner, and I'm going to be, how about a sports bar? Guys, it's the only way. Like, well, who do you love more? I'm like, do you really want to answer that question?
You do not want me to answer that.
Like, do you know how long it's been since the Knicks have been in the conference finals? Okay, but we're gonna have more anniversaries than they are trips to the conference finals.
That's true. Well,
oh no, it's true. Unless things go south with the old wife, like it's
Right.
true. I mean, this is the first time. I'm 36. The last time the Knicks were in the conference finals, let's make sure I'm right. This was 2000. I was in 6th grade.
Okay.
Like, we're talking a long time ago.
Yeah.
And yes, everybody out there, we're getting to football, I promise. But yeah, like, they're playing the Pacers, which as a Knicks fan of my age, I can't express what an absolute hatred there is for the Indiana Pacers.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I hate the Pacers more than any other team in basketball, and it's not close.
Right.
People would probably think like, "Oh, the Bulls." No, I didn't hate the Bulls. Even as a kid, as much as I hated that the Bulls beat the Knicks, I loved watching Michael Jordan. I did hate Miami. I hated them with a pretty visceral passion.
Yeah, that's fair. Was that the Alonzo Mourning?
Yeah, like him and Tim Hardaway. Like they just got into a fight every year in the playoffs. Yeah. But there's nobody I hated more than Reggie Miller. Nobody. Absolutely hated his guts to the point that I actually met him in Midtown Manhattan when I was like 25. I was working for Awful Announcing at the time. And they sent me to a thing, like it was like a March Madness like preview. It was right before March Madness. It was basically just like a get together down in Midtown Manhattan. You could ask all the broadcasters for Turner questions and whatnot.
Right.
And he was there, and he happened to be standing in the hallway outside by himself. And I was like, I'm never gonna have this opportunity again. And I said, Reggie, I know it's just. He didn't know who the hell I was. It didn't matter if it was unprofessional or not. Right. I was like, listen, Reggie, I got to tell you, you're a really nice guy. I haven't just talked to you. I hated you as a kid. Hated you. And he got the smile on his face. And he was like, you a Knicks fan? Like, yep. He's like, yeah, how'd game 5 feel? 25 in the 4th quarter. And I thought about it for a second. I'm like, well, we both have the same amount of rings. And to his credit, he kind of like, that's fair. That is fair.
Yeah.
And I walked away being like, fuck, man. I actually like the guy. Like, I really I wanted to hate his guts at the end of the conversation. And
Isn't that the worst?
And I was like, I got to be fair. Like, he's all right. He's all right. I walked away. The worst part of it was I got in the subway and I'm going back and I'm thinking to myself, like, he would have been a great Knick, man.
Yeah, he probably would have been. Yeah.
So much at back. I'm like, he would have been awesome as a Knick. But God, it still galls me that like he was so cool about that conversation.
Yeah.
Awful Announcing, by the way, if you're just hearing this for the first time, that's who you hired. No. I was part-time, didn't matter. But it was, oh God, I almost wanted him to like hate me like as much as I hated him, but he was just like, yeah, that's funny. And I was like, damn it.
Because he embraces it. Like, I mean, that he embraces being hated by that whole city. Like, and that's probably the only way you can go about it, truthfully.
He was super cool.
Yeah.
Like, I got to give it to him. He was super cool. I was like, all right, I mean, I'm sure he's heard 10,000 times worse. Over the years. So to him, that was probably like, hey, how are you? But oh God. I mean, and now he's calling the games in this series. Right. It just adds to it. Like, if they lose to the Pacers in this year, last year they lost to them, but the Knicks were like a shell of themselves because they're so beat up. This year, their healthiest. If they lose to Indiana in this series, I'm going to be physically ill. So that's Anyway, we'll get to football. That's where I'm at here as we head into this week.
I think it was a good vibe check for you though, because I had gotten a couple requests of we need a Knicks minute from Matt there with the State of the Union on the.
I'm sure people are really concerned. Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, look, I'm glad we got it. Also, I got some updates to the soundboard over here. I talked about this on the KC Laboratory when I stepped in for old Hollywood Swanson over there. Added some new sound effects to the board. So wow. I mean, I got the Undertaker bell, we got that. We got a little bit of this is usually reserved for Ken if he makes like a really bad dad joke, Got the boo. Sometimes you need that also. And then you get a little bit of a if you make a good point, Matt, if you're like in the middle of a rant, throw it down the air horns, like we got all kinds of we got the Mortal Kombat. I mean, we are cooking on the soundboard.
We have turned into talk radio. Is that all the different sound bites, Like
that deserves this.
We're like the afternoon show now in Sioux Falls.
We are no better than the afternoon show in Sioux Falls.
Maybe considerably worse.
That's true. Matt, I don't know if you saw this or if you had Twitter up. Actually, just before we started recording, the Lions actually withdrew their playoff seating proposal.
Good.
So it will not be voted on. It was kind of stupid. And here's the thing. I don't know if I fully understood what their proposal was, because then it got amended from the original league owners meetings that you were down at in Florida. And then it got amended here, and now they're withdrawing it before they even had a chance to vote on it. I didn't think it was going to pass anyway. It didn't seem like there was a big momentum push for it, but we kind of talked about it on last week's episode about like the reseeding. I don't know what they meant by that. Did they mean to actually fully reseed the teams instead of just having the lowest seed in the first round? Did they mean to give a seed to the record again? I don't know, but that will not be voted on.
No, it will not. Look, I think basically the Lions proposal was the idea that, look, if you were a 12-5 wild card team and some team won the division at 9-8,
right,
that the wild card team was going to have the higher seed. That was the main crux of it. I just think at that point, then why the hell do the divisions matter?
Yeah,
they don't matter. Like at that juncture, having divisions is worthless.
Right.
The whole point of winning your division is an automatic playoff berth and having a home game. And if you're going to win your division and not have a home game and maybe not even have a playoff spot, then who cares? And my thing is, if you're going to go that route, which I don't want them to go that route, I think that would suck.
Mm-hmm.
But if they do go that route, okay, fine. Then there should be even schedules across the board.
Right.
Then it should be, hey, look, like let's just say we live in a world where it's an 18-game schedule. Okay, cool. So let's use the Chiefs. The Chiefs then should play every team in the AFC one time. Right? And then from there you could get creative. Do you still want to have two games in each division? I mean, I think that creates imbalance. Like if your division is stacked and some other team's division sucks,
right?
That matter. Like, do you maybe do it where you have a rotating thing? Look at the NFC. You're going to play. If you're a first place team, maybe you play 3 first place teams.
Yeah.
Do you do that? And that way you kind of keep a little bit of what it is now. Like, to me, man, division should matter. It should matter if you win your division. That is an accomplishment. For a lot of teams, that's the only accomplishment they're ever going to have, right? What other banners are the Texans hanging? Right? I mean, hell, what other banners are the Bills hanging?
That's a great point.
Otherwise, we're just looking at a Super Bowl trophy hanging in the Bills, field house. It's just going to be taken down at you. You've got to have something hanging up there, right? So, yeah, I think divisions have to matter. Divisions, and two, like sports are built on rivalries, and if you don't have a divisional crown that matters at all, that rivalry kind of goes out the window. Like it matters when the Chiefs play the Raiders.
Right.
It matters when the Steelers play the Ravens. It matters when the Niners play the Rams or the Cowboys play the Commanders. However you want to whatever you want to look at. Those games matter.
Yeah.
They don't matter as much if the division means nothing. So to me, I am a traditionalist by heart. In full disclosure, I would hate to see them get rid of that meaningfulness behind the divisional crown.
I kind of hate that they only have one bye week, but I understand it makes the one seed a little bit more enticing. Makes you want to makes the regular season games matter a little bit more if you're in the hunt for the one seed. I just wish that they would have the 1 and the 2 both have a bye, and they didn't add the extra wild card. But they're never going back, right? They're never going to go back. They've made too much money. That exclusive game on Tubi Plus is going to make them way more money than anything else that they do.
How do you feel about an 8 playoff team field? Because I feel like that's coming.
It probably is.
They're going to be, you know what? 4 games on wild card weekend in each conference.
That's too much. I think that's too much. Here's the thing that I think we get lost in the weeds with too, and I what I appreciate about the NFL is that it's not easy to make the playoffs, right? Teams have to be good to make the playoffs. You look at the NBA, right? We were talking about the NBA a little bit. With their play-in tournament now, there's only 3 teams that don't make the playoffs, that makes some sort of postseason. I think you diminish the meaning of postseason football when you start adding more teams into it. That's part of the reason I like the 2-team bye is that less teams made it into the playoffs. I think that if you can kind of exclusivize, I think I've made that word up. If you can make getting into the playoffs exclusive, it makes it a way more better thing to claim for your team that, they were a playoff team last year. That's a lot better than having half of the league in the playoffs, in my opinion.
It's true, but man, I mean, really, when you think about it now, 7 teams each conference make the playoffs. I mean, the NBA is ridiculous.
It is,
okay.
Yeah.
But the NHL, 8 make it.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball now. I mean, God, even when I was a kid, 4 teams made it, and I know there are people watching this going, "In my day, 2 teams made it."
It's so confusing with baseball because they change it every other year.
Baseball, we're about 5 years from baseball just being you know what? Everybody and 3 teams from AAA get in. We're rewarding everybody. Everybody's in.
Yep.
Baseball to me is the worst in the sense you had 162 fucking games. How many more goddamn games you need? I mean, we need the 6th best team in the AL to get in now.
Right.
To me, 4 was perfect. We don't need a massive playoff construct. And in football, look, I even think the 7th seed is too much, quite frankly.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Most of these 7 seeds, they're awful.
Mm-hmm.
At least by playoff standards. I mean, by regular standards, whatever. They're an average team. But most of these teams that are 7 seeds, they're cannon fodder. I mean, hell, to this point, what is one of them won? And then Green Bay, right?
Yeah, I was just looking that up because only one 7th seed has won, and it was the Green Bay Packers was 48-32 in the 2024.
They crushed Dallas because who were the 7 seeds last year? Denver was in the AFC, and they got killed.
Yep.
Who was the 7th seed in the NFC? Who was? It was the Packers.
Yeah.
And they got not killed, but handled.
Right.
I think every once in a while you'll have a conference that's so stacked that the 7th seed actually isn't a total pushover.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, yeah, I would be willing about 80% of the time you're going to look at that 7th seed and you're going to get killed.
Yeah. That's the thing too, is you want more competitive games. Get less. You need less teams. You need good teams in the playoffs. And I think that the proposal of just they had a better record, so they should be in there is just kind of participation trophy type stuff. You want a better record, you should have had maybe a 1 more win, and then you could have had a home game. Then you could have hosted. But I do think that it's good that the Lions withdrew that proposal. They probably saw the writing on the wall.
Well, it wasn't going to get pushed.
It wasn't. One that does seem like it's going to get pushed, no pun intended.
Speaking of push, yeah.
Speaking of pushing, it does seem like the Tush push is going to get banned. Now, the Packers reworded their proposal to basically being the rule was, I think in 2005 or really up to 2005, where you just couldn't push a guy from behind if he's a ball carrier.
Right, correct.
So that's basically what the rule is. We're eliminating what the Eagles have kind of patented, right? And in the way that they have kind of revolutionized this. Now, this isn't going to keep the Philadelphia Eagles from QB sneaking. This isn't getting QB sneaking out of the game. I think that might be a common misconception about this. The Eagles will still probably do a QB sneak, and they'll still probably be really good at it, right? They just can't push him from behind is what the proposal is. It does sound like I saw a tweet from Jordan Schultz that said Roger Goodell is behind this proposal as well, it seems like, and it seems like a lot of it's reported, I believe Diana Rossini reported that it is likely to pass as well. Thoughts on reverting this rule back to how it was up until 2005?
I have very mixed emotions. I have mixed emotions. I don't have any emotion on it. I have mixed thoughts on it.
Yeah.
Well, on one hand, I think it's bullshit that the Eagles are getting punished for being great at something.
I agree with that. Yes.
Because that's what it is. Let's just be honest. Like this idea that it's for player safety is such a load of crap. Like the NFL cares. Okay. The NFL is putting the Chiefs on in Bangladesh on a Monday afternoon after playing Sunday. Like, give me a break that the NFL is sitting around clutching pearls going, oh God, is somebody going to get hurt when they all push each other? Like there's a 0% chance that one guy in that room gives a shit whether or not somebody's getting hurt. Okay. Like, so just spare me that whole argument. That's the biggest load of crap on earth. All right. The Eagles are getting punished because the Eagles are overwhelmingly successful at it. And no other team is even close to as successful at doing it. Just ask the Bills. Okay. It's not a given unless you're Philadelphia. The other side of the coin, and this is the truth of why it's getting banned and why I understand it, is a horrible watch. It is boring. It is insanely predictable. It doesn't look like a football play. And the league owners and the commissioner don't want plays that are boring and predictable. And so they're going to yank this thing out of the game. Now, I don't have a problem with sitting there saying, listen, you can't pull a ball carrier forward. That's fine. That rule has been in effect. Like Nick Sirianni was talking the other day about how, well, Bart Starr, for anyone who doesn't know, quarterback of the Packers in the 60s. Mm-hmm. Bart Starr had a famous play where he dove over, and of course he's using the Packers as the example because the Packers are the ones who put the proposal forward.
Yeah.
I have awful news for Nick. Awful news. He's referring to the Ice Bowl in 1967, which was the NFL championship game that year when they played the Cowboys at Lambeau Field. And Starr snuck over the left side for the game-winning touchdown with 16 seconds left. They didn't push Bart Starr because it was illegal to push Bart Starr. Okay? Take it from someone who's such a nerd. I've watched that play 1,000 times.
Yeah.
There's a very famous photo of Chuck Mercine, who was the running back on the play, who was behind Starr. The Starr is falling into the end zone. Mercine is like putting his hands up like touchdown. And everybody thinks he's signaling touchdown. He's not signaling touchdown. He's showing the officials they didn't push him. Okay. So it was a nice try by Nick Sirianni.
Yeah.
But he actually was kind of proving the Packers' point. It's like, you don't need to push the guy to score or make the yardage that you need to get. I also understand why Sirianni and the Eagles are pissed, though. Like, I get it.
Sure.
I think in the end, like, the NFL doesn't want to play that's boring and isn't aesthetically pleasing and all the rest of it. It has nothing to do with them being worried about guys getting hurt. Because to be fair, I can't think of one time that's the only. In fact, the only time I could ever think of a quarterback adjacent sneak, or an adjacent play where the guy got hurt was Mahomes.
Yeah,
I can't think of any other time I've ever watched the quarterback sneak and the quarterback's gotten injured.
Yeah.
And that was the most bizarre play I can ever remember with the Chiefs. Like, I don't remember ever a quarterback. I'm not saying it's ever happened, but into my recollection, it's the only time I've ever seen a quarterback get hurt on a snake.
Or really any player. I know that they're like Jason Kelsey talked about this on the New Heights show. I watched the clip, but he's actually in Minnesota with Jeff Lurie, with all of these Eagles bigwigs. I need to take the trash out. I don't know if you heard that. Wow. My schedule reminder. This happens every day. Every time we record this podcast, I get reminded that I need to take the trash out. I don't know if you saw the clip though, Matt, where Jason Kelsey was like, if they told me I could do 80 tush pushes, I would unretire right now. He's like, that is not because there's some speculation that Jason Kelsey retired because of the tush push. And he's saying that's not at all true. And he's just trying to answer questions from the player safety side of it, from a player who was on the front lines of the tush push. So he's there in Minnesota right now. I think that is very interesting that he is there, hoping to answer some questions. I do agree with you. I don't think the Eagles should be punished with it. I still think they'll run the quarterback sneak and be good at it because Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback sneak quarterback, and they have a good offensive line. Like, I mean, you got a good center, you got a good offensive line.
Yes.
That'll be good. They'll still be okay at quarterback sneaks. Won't kill them. I think this rule will help in other areas, right? I don't like it when a running back gets like stuck up when they get stuck up, and then an offensive lineman will come and just like push them 5 more yards. Like that is just like, I think that defeats the purpose. It's not the spirit of the game, right? So like, I think it'll help in that regard. This is not the intended purpose of what that rule will be, but I think it'll help in that regard as well. So, we need to take a break, but I do want to talk about the rule that the league also passed with the IOC and flag football. I think that is a really interesting rule that they passed as well, allowing NFL players to participate in the Olympics potentially when it comes around. I believe 2028 is when that will be for flag football. That could be really exciting. So we're going to take a break. We'll be back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Also, Joe Thuney signed an extension. I think we should talk about that as well. Chiefs.
Shop Chiefs tickets and more with no fees. Plus, save big with code KCSN at ticketsforless.com, the official ticket provider of KC Sports Network.
Success in real estate takes more than vision. It takes the right financial partner. When someone takes something rundown and turns it into something great, that's called a comeback story, like Brain Group. They take distressed properties here in KC, completely rework them, and then turn them into valuable real estate. But that kind of work needs the right bank behind it. Enter Emprise Bank. They're not about cookie-cutter loans. They saw Brain Group's vision, backed them, and now they're making big moves in Kansas City real estate. Talk about your partner in possible. Emprise doesn't do one-size-fits-all financing. They invest in potential and back growth. Visit emprisebank.com/KC to learn more. Emprise Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
It's playoff time, and if you're still just watching games, then you're missing out. With Pick 6 from DraftKings, you can turn your hoops knowledge into real cash. Just make your picks, track your score, and if you hit all 6, you're looking at bigger payouts than Prize Picks flex plays. Nobody's dropping better payouts than Pick 6. Hit 6 picks, and that's 25 times your cash. And if you beat your competitor, you could be looking at a 500 times bag in your pocket. And right now, new customers get $50 in bonus picks with just a $5 entry. The playoffs are on, so why not take a shot at making a little money while you're watching? Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app right now and use code KCSN. That's code KCSN to play $5 and get $50 in bonus picks. Better payouts, bigger wins, only on Pick 6 from DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 bonus picks that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. Terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos. I'll let you choose, Matt. Do you want to talk about Thuney or do you want to talk about flag football first?
I think Thuney is really like kind of a quick one. So we can just Thuney got a 2 years, $35 million as an extension.
Yep.
I mean, he's in his mid-30s, so to get $35 million extra is pretty nice. The Bears did right by him. Look, if I'm the Bears, I would have extended him too.
Right.
I also think you see why, based on that number, like why the Chiefs would have had a hard time extending him if they were also going to keep Smith. Because I was someone who said, listen, they could do it for a year and then move off. But I also understand if you're going to keep Smith, also at the time we didn't know they were going to pay Jalen Moore and then draft a tackle in the first round. So,
yeah.
Which there's a report on Tuesday that Josh Simmons, if he's healthy, is the starting left tackle.
Yeah, that's what Adam Teicher said on Sports Radio 810. So shout out to Sports Radio 810 for that nugget and Adam Teicher on his way out dropping that. Oh yeah, by the way,
just like, hey guys, by the way, all right then.
Hey guys,
I was like, all right, Okay.
So funny. So funny.
We'll see how that plays out. But yeah, listen, I mean, I think Thuney is well deserved. I don't know that it means a lot for Trey Smith. Like it's two totally different situations.
Yeah.
But the reason I say you can understand why with the Chiefs, it's like when you have a 2-year contract for $35 million, you can't really move the money around. You're paying 2 big cap hits.
Mm-hmm.
The Chiefs don't want to have to pay 2 big cap hits for a 34 and 35-year-old guard. So, I mean, I get it. I still think the best case scenario for the Chiefs this year would have been working out a long-term deal with Trey Smith earlier, right, and then just keeping Joe Thuney for one more year and getting a comp pick, which, by the way, I don't know would have been any worse than what they got from the Bears. But that's
anymore. But yeah,
I was going to say, and then they ended up trading it anyway.
Yeah.
That's just me. That's just my 2 cents. I'm not killing the Chiefs for what they did, but I think there's an alternate universe where they could have had Thuney and Smith for one more year.
I agree.
But listen, it is what it is. I'm happy for Thuney. I don't think it matters that much for Smith in terms of I mean, it's just they're 2 totally different points in their career.
Yeah. Here's the thing where I think the tie kind of goes to the younger player. Is kind of how it goes down to. Smith is turning 60 or 26 in June, I believe is his birthday. So he's just about to turn 26. Thuney turns 33 in November. So like that's
2 contracts.
That is a big age difference. And I'm not I understand the Chiefs' point of view of like, oh, we can get this 26-year-old rather than having to try to figure out a contract for this 33-year-old. Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. I do think that like, look, there's some up and downs in Trey Smith's game that maybe Joe Thuney doesn't necessarily have. Maybe Joe Thuney is more of a sure thing. Now, how long is that sure thing going to last? You take a gamble on that, right? And the Chiefs don't like to pay players over 30. If you just typically look at how they operate, they don't love to do that. So it makes sense that they went with Trey Smith. I think he took some strides last year. I know the Super Bowl was rough on everyone on that offensive line, and that's like the last taste we have in our mouths for all these offensive linemen. So we think they all suck outside of, Creed played pretty well. But outside of that, like it was not a great performance for anyone in that Super Bowl for that team. But I think that is kind of interesting when you see that number. I think it's easy to be like, oh, I would have rather done that instead of pay Trey. I don't know. I think I'd rather take the younger guy, truthfully. I'd rather take the age in consideration there. While the number does look pretty reasonable, I think, when you look at for what Joe Thuney does for a team and kind of what that number is. Joe Thuney deserved it. I think he deserved every cent of it. I'm glad he got an extension after being traded too. Like that's always a conversation with a player with a 1-year contract of getting an extension. Are they going to be able to get an extension done? I'm glad that he got that. Glad he got all that all under control. But we'll see. Well, Trey Smith comes out. We'll see when that contract deal, or if it even does come down, if he decides to play on the tag. They got plenty of time. I think they have until camp really before all that gets done. But Matt. Flag football. It's gonna have NFL, real life NFL players in flag football, and there's no way the U.S. doesn't lose, right? Like they have to go undefeated and beat every team by like 35, right?
Dude, that is going to be
they're loaded.
Like they're going to make the '92 Dream Team look like they were just okay,
right?
I mean, the U.S. flag football team is going to do to like France.
Yeah.
I mean, that is going to be ungodly what happens in those games. By the way, the funniest thing about this to me, not even close. The NBA had Christmas.
Yep.
And then the NFL was like, guess what? No day is safe for you. None. Here it comes. And then the NBA was like, you know what? At least thank God we've got the Summer Olympics. And I was like, not today, boys. Here it comes. The NFL's back. Like, it's amazing that the NFL found a way to get itself into the Summer Olympics. Well, let's be real. Everybody is going to watch this.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this is going to be, you're going to be, oh, what is the U.S. basketball team doing? Oh, don't give a shit. The U.S. flag football team's playing Canada, a.k.a. the 51st state. Let's go, USA. It's going to be insanity. Absolutely. Canada, by the way, is probably the second best team. So they've got CFL and all that. Like,
I was gonna say, yeah, they're probably like Canada's gonna be pretty okay.
yeah, Canada is probably like pretty far and away the silver medalist there.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, man. Here's the question I do have, genuinely. Are we gonna get some like crazy, like Australia brings in like rugby guys and it's it's chaos?
Yeah, I
Like,
mean,
I think it's two different sports enough that like it would, but because it's not physical, it's flag football.
right.
But that part of it's kind of interesting to me. I love it. I know we're all going to hate it when some guy blows his knee out. It's it's coming.
Yeah.
Some receiver is going to cut and blow his knee out, and people are going to go absolutely insane. Hopefully it doesn't happen, but it feels like that is an inevitable outcome, if not 2028, just at some point here.
I thought I heard Joshua Briscoe bring this up on Only Weird Games. I think they're still negotiating with the Players Association and the league about like additional insurance for that as well. Which, I mean, you'd hope that's like the least that they could do is provide them a little additional supplemental coverage for playing the football and spreading the game. Look, I mean, this is what they want to do. Like the NFL is focused on spreading the game. And Joe Burrow wants to spread. I don't know if you saw that. Joe Burrow is complaining because the Bengals aren't traveling enough. Did you see that quote?
I did see that. He feels like they're growing the game and he wants to play internationally.
He wants to play internationally, and I said, buddy, your owner's not paying for an international charter.
Guys are going coach.
You guys are flying economy.
Guys are gonna have a connection in Newark,
Dublin Air.
That's right. Spirit. We can't afford to have bags. So dress with all of your outfits on in one.
Wear all your clothes. Yeah, we can't afford to check bags. You can't take a carry-on either, actually, because we're on Frontier. So you can't actually bring any bags. We're gonna actually take a ferry for all of our equipment. So we need to leave 3 weeks ahead of time. You need that equipment for these other games? Too bad. You wanted to go international, Joe. This is what you get. I mean, we're talking about a franchise. Sorry, I'm getting off point here, but I just thought about that because I saw the headline come across my timeline again. We're talking about a franchise that didn't build an indoor practice facility until Joe Burrow was like, pretty please, can you build an indoor practice facility? And he's like, okay, fine, we'll build a bubble. And like, we're talking about a franchise that doesn't actually have a GM. They have a de facto GM. Like that's not actually his role. He's like the player development. We're also talking about a franchise that has like freelances out their scouting department. So like, this is not a franchise that I think is chomping at the bit to charter an international flight for a lot of staff members, players, coaching staff to head on over to England or who knows, they're probably going to go to Afghanistan next and play a game there. Dubai is probably in the cards for next year because they just want to play on every single continent at the same time. But yeah, I thought that was interesting that Joe Burrow was complaining that they weren't traveling enough.
I believe that no team travels less than Cincinnati this year.
No, you're right. They have the least amount of travel. Right? Yeah.
And the Bills are like 31st.
Right. Yes.
Correct. Yeah. So, yeah. And part of that, because your division and how close you are to these teams. Yeah. If you're Burrow, like, it's kind of cool he wants to play internationally, but also, like, I don't know. Like, you're complaining that you don't have to travel. I'm sure Trevor Lawrence is like, please, take one of ours. Take one of our games.
Right.
I can't take it anymore. I basically have a flat in London now. We're splitting time. I don't know. It's a weird thing to complain about. I never thought I'd hear a player be like, damn it, I want to have to go across the ocean to play a football game.
Yeah, very strange. Back to flag football, though. I just thought about this. I mean, this is in 2028, so like we still have, 2025 right now? It's 2025, right?
Yeah.
So 3 more years. Who's the quarterback of that team? Like Mahomes will be into his 30s. Do you think Mahomes will be the quarterback?
If he wants to be, yes.
That's fair.
But I give you one. I give you Jaden Daniels.
Oh, that could be a good one, especially with the scrambling. Yeah.
Jaden Daniels. I think if Mahomes, it's one of those like respect things. If he wants to do it, they'll be like, all right.
Yeah. Right.
tough to really argue that.
Give him the nod. Yeah.
Yeah, like they'll be like, okay, that seems fair enough.
Right.
But like Jaden Daniels would be outrageous in flag football.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think isn't it part of the rule proposal that only one player per team?
Oh, I didn't pull that part of it up. It could be. That's interesting.
I don't want to say things that aren't true, but I feel like that's part of it. So
I'll double check that real quick, but I did not read that.
So that would be interesting too. Like you'd have if I'm right about that, you'd have to make some tough decisions, on certain teams. Now, on other teams, you wouldn't want to send anybody. I think the
Raiders stay at home.
You know what, New Orleans, we're good. We're good. Just send the mascot. It's fine.
New Orleans.
Like Cleveland, Myles Garrett. Yeah, you'd be good. Also, how much does your pass rush matter in this?
Right. That's a great point. What if Myles Garrett wants to play wideout?
Right? Are you going heavy on corners? Like,
yeah.
Does it matter if you have an elite pass rush here? Also, does it matter how good your offensive line is? Like, you're not exactly running off tackle.
Right. They have to play both ways. Is that a part of it?
So there's a lot that goes into this. I'll tell you right now, I've always wanted to attend an Olympics, and this is the first excuse I have to get credentialed to go to the Olympics.
Oh, that's a great point. Didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
that's a great angle.
Absolutely. The IOC better buckle up because I'm going to be in the press box just screaming things. So this is perfect for me.
So you were right. It is only one player from the same NFL team.
Okay, I thought so.
So here's the rules. You get 10 players per team, 5 players on the field. Okay, so a roster must be 10 players, but you can only have 5 on the field at a time. So you could have a full offense and defense. I'm wondering if some players want to play both ways. What if Tyreek Hill's like, put me at corner too?
I mean, I don't think anybody's going to stop him.
Right. Field is 70 by 25. So 70 yards by 25 yards. 40-minute games, 2 20-minute halves, including a 2-minute warning. 4 downs to reach midfield and then 4 downs to score a touchdown. And then no run plays within 5 yards of the end zone. Makes sense. Overtime is, if scored, is tied with each team getting equal chances to win. Hey, they already have a better overtime rule than the NFL. How about that? Interesting. I'm excited for it. I mean, Justin Jefferson could be one of those guys too. You just look at the kind of like the age of the guys that could be in it. I think it gets exciting when you start looking at internationally. I'm curious what they'll do. How many teams will submit flag football teams into it, and if they just have like Joe Schmoes from like, I don't know, Bulgaria that want to play in flag football. And they're like, I kind of want to be on the same field as Patrick Mahomes. That'd be kind of sick. Yeah. And then it's just a couple Joe Schmoes. That'd be kind of sick too.
I want like can I just I'm out. My heritage is Italian, so like can I just?
Ooh.
But listen, I can throw a ball and stuff. Not anywhere near as well as anybody who's going to be involved in this thing. But like, I just want to be out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can we get that done? I feel like that's probably a hard no, but I want to give it a shot.
I think so. It's exciting though, with the NFL passing these rules. We'll have you up to date on everything that happens from these owners' meetings. It seems like it's not going to be. It seems like everything's going to go as anticipated from these owners' meetings. If something does unexpected come out of there, we will cover it on Friday's edition of That Football Show. We appreciate everyone hanging out with us here as we another week down as we are trudging towards the off season. We are in the thick of the off season here, Matt.
We are.
Any final thoughts before we get out of here?
No. Thank you for being here. Thanks for sticking around. OTA starting next week, by the way. So we'll have stuff to talk about next week, Chiefs. May 27th, first OTA.
We'll get to see Josh Simmons in individual drills.
That's right. Stick around for that. We'll have an hour's worth of breaking down analysis.
Break down Josh Simmons in individual drills. But hey, Josh, just slide a knee brace on, man. I know you're doing ND drills, but just like go ahead and slide one of them knee braces on just to be safe.
Yeah, sure.
All right, that's gonna do it for this week's for this Wednesday edition, I should say, of That Football Show. Thank you to Matt and Ben Holiday Bottled and Bond Bourbon Holiday Distillery for making this show possible. That's Matt Verderame. I'm Tucker Franklin. We will catch you guys on Friday. We'll see you.